Okay, we're recording. No pressure.
Okay.
All right, Judith, welcome to Dream Talking. You were just talking to me about living in Florida. What part of Florida?
Yes, I was living in Gainesville, Florida. I was partners with some friends of mine. We had a bakery that we started. It was a hole on the wall that just kept growing,
Nice.
and yes, and so it was great fun. It was wonderful to live in a university town. I never thought about. I live in Hawaii now, on the big island of Hawaii. And I never thought about coming to Hawaii, but I wanted to do this healing fast. I wanted to do 40 days of fast and prayer on water. And so I was checking out different fasting, not clinics, but places where you could go fast, and everybody wanted $5,000 to $15,000 to come and not eat. And so, and and so a friend of mine said, "Well, why don't you get a hold of our friend Larry? He's done close to 5 or 6 fasts. So he's doing a fruit juice fast right now that is lasted for 3 months." And so I contacted him and he said, "Well, I would love to help you, but I'm going to Hawaii." And we just bought a piece of land. Two of his friends, who are friends of mine, and him bought a piece on the Hamakua coast with a beautiful gold, well, actually two gorges. His property was in between two waterfalls.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, it is quite beautiful, the water coming from the mountain. And so, and he says, "So we're moving there. I'm getting a container loaded up with material to make the trip there. So if you want me to help you with it, you'll have to come to Hawaii." And I thought, Hawaii? And I was thinking it was going to be really city-like the Coral Gables in Florida, and so it wasn't. And actually, the 5 acres was not. It was just jungle, and so he had a place cleared up in which where a greenhouse was left in. And so I came, met him, and I started my fast that started on August 17. I was going to do it, I mean, July 9th, and I was going to take it to August 17. And that's how I came to Hawaii, to do a fast and prayer. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of fasting on water. That was fairly easy, actually. It just felt like a natural, so natural, so that I carried it to 60 days because I
Wow.
wanted to see what it felt like to go through real hunger. Because I've always been in the kitchen. I've worked as a cook, as a pastry chef, um, since I was 22.
Mm.
And so I wanted to see what it was like to go without food and be really hungry. And so I did. And it was a very interesting experience. It's completely different than from being, just, "Oh, I'm hungry, I better get something to eat," or "I'm running out of energy," because you get so much energy from not eating.
Yeah.
It's,
You get high off of it, yeah?
oh, so high. I had to run 5 miles. I had to run 5 miles every day just to be able to go to sleep at night. And on top of it, I took this pitchfork and I uprooted all these guava trees, and I created this huge garden so that when I came out of fasting after 60 days, I had watermelons, I had vegetables, so I was using all these vegetables to get off the fast. It was really pretty good because once you get off a fast, you can't just cram in the food because
Yeah.
that would be a shock to your system. So you have to slowly reintroduce. But it was a downer. Eating was a complete downer. It was just like I had swallowed rocks, but emotional, mental, physical rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. I was not prepared for that.
Well, I'm no doctor, and I have never fasted that long. I think my
Mm-hmm.
record is 5 days, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that high feeling that you get. And it's funny, I was talking to my buddy earlier today. I fast on Wednesdays normally
Uh-huh.
because I'm so excited about coming over to see Mike and the Paul talk that I run on that instead of food.
Mm-hmm.
And then normally
Sure.
I'll eat, at the end of the day or whatever. But getting back to the fasting, so we spend our entire lives. Again, I'm not a doctor. This is just an idea, and I've listened to a good amount of stuff on it. We spend our whole lives digesting and always digesting and digesting and
Mm-hmm.
digesting. And when we take that work away from your body, it goes, well, we used to use all this energy to digest, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things besides digestion, but
Mm-hmm.
all that work can now be rerouted to what? Running 5 miles a day, building a garden, doing all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then eating again. Your body's like, oh God, we haven't had to do this in a long time. You're making us have to digest and process all this food again. So I could totally see that.
Oh yeah,
My
absolutely.
question though, why,
When
why do you go back to eating?
We got it.
oh
Well, if you can go 60, if you can go
well,
60 days like that, why would you change?
right. Well, because this is going through real hunger. Okay, supposedly according to breatharians, if you can go through what I was experiencing,
Yeah.
and I stopped it then because for some reason this part my throat started to open, and it felt like I was like there was opening, and it was dry throat, and it was like I was doing this constant exhaling through my mouth. It was an interesting feeling, and so that's when I started to do light juices with very watery juices for a couple of days, and then put spirulina in the food. But they said that if you go through that, if you let yourself go through that, then you would just. And I mean, I was I was 103 pounds, I think, and I went down to 89 pounds.
So when you started the fast, you were only 108 pounds.
Yeah, no, 103.
103.
103, 104. I never have weighed more than 105.
And you're 5'5".
Yeah, I'm 5'4" and I'm 100 pounds.
You're tiny.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
I
ask. I
stay.
thought maybe you were like 300 pounds, and now you're
Oh
after
no, I'm the
all.
300
Yeah, it's
pound
crazy.
bouncer.
Well, you didn't have much to live off of because from again, my limited understanding is when you fast,
Right,
the first thing you live off of is the fat. That's the extra storage. That's the fuel.
right.
But you didn't. Seems like you didn't have much there to
Well,
burn.
well, you know what? This is really interesting because this gets back to quote unquote the dreaming or spirituality, quote unquote. Because when you think about it and it's a dream, the carrot is in the air. The carrot, the cucumber, the beef, the rice.
Yes.
It, you just have to go there to access it. There are breatharians that, of course, there was once, and I'm sure that there's a YouTube about this. There's this guy who's a yogi that stopped eating, and he was in his 50s or so. He stopped
Is this the
eating,
guy who he looks at the sun? He lives off the sun?
something like that.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen him.
And he stopped eating at the age of 16 or so. So anyway, is the scientists were interested in it. I saw the video. Of course, he didn't look like the picture of a buff dude, which we think is healthy. This guy that is strong, muscular, beefy, but whatever. And so he didn't look that way. He was sure skin and bones, but that's what he did, not eat at all. Maybe he drank just a little bit. So they figured, okay, well, we want to see if you're for real. And so they put a probe up, up his colon, and there was no trace of food. Like this guy had never eaten before. Clean. The intestinal tracts were clean as clean.
Yeah.
It was just like, and so yeah, and there are some breatharians that say that, yeah, you can go through this. You can get everything that you need from the ether, from the air. The universe will, not universe, whatever. Will provide for you. And so we'll make the adjustments, because this is actually quite an adjustment already. We went through a fantastic adjustment as embryos. We were mermaids. We lived in water, and then coming out, we became air people. So there's stuff happening.
Yeah, no, I'm actually down with that. So I tend to always lean towards. I try to lean away from woo-woo stuff. So I don't know how much. I don't think you really know my history at all. We actually haven't really talked.
No, we've never.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll let. So as I was talking, I live in Berkeley, the other side of the water from San Francisco, and I grew up in a community that claimed to be psychic, be able to give psychic readings and do energy healing and all this kind of stuff. So from as young as I can remember, that's what I was told reality is if you are sick, we can go and remove the negative energy and then you're healed. We can tell when there's other people's influence or in your energy field, and we can remove it. And so that was what I was raised with. And then as I was getting older, I was starting to go like, shit's not lining up here, because this person was sick and they actually died, even though they got all the energy, the healing work or whatever. Or this person was, and they didn't get better until they got on the antibiotics or whatever. So I swung the other way, and this is the story I've told on the podcast before. Of I grew up with God, and a very new age metaphysical God, not and somewhat Christian too, and then I swung the other way of atheist, scientific. It's all bullshit. All that anything that can't be scientifically, empirically proven is bullshit. And I'm slowly swinging back to, I love what the phrase you used of dreaming. I see more and more as there's a very interesting thing with first person and third person. When we talk about science in the West, we're talking about third person science. This is all Richard Lang, Headless Way stuff. Third person is what can be observed, objects out there that can be observed, right? And we're going to get rid of the whole non-dual, and we'll assume there are actually objects out there that can be observed and measured and weighed and this and that.
Sure.
So that seems to play by a pretty good rule book with most things. Now, with gravity, no, not so much. With electricity, it breaks everything kind of breaks on the edges. Quantum physics, things sort of break on the edges.
Space itself,
time itself, all of that, right?
Space-time itself,
yeah. But within whatever that span is, we're able to measure things, right? So if you go to most doctors, most nutritionalists, most scientists, they're going to say, well, you have to eat because of this, and that. We have these rules set up. Now, I can totally kind of lean the other way of the first person science of, if, like you said, the body could adapt, right? Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know it for myself.
Yeah, no, of course, and I don't know for
Yeah.
and you wouldn't know unless you did it, right?
Right.
But there was a huge part of my life that I would just say, nope, it's bullshit. I know that you have to eat food. What the hell do I know?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like maybe
Right.
you don't run the experiment, you don't know. Yeah, and I
Right.
went my own health thing where, like so many people have of my generation, that you grew up being told not to eat fats, not to eat cholesterol. It's bad for your heart.
Hmm.
This, and that. And then I've about a year ago almost started doing keto. If you've heard of the
Hmm.
ketogenic diet,
Yes, yes.
where you eat a lot of fat and you eat very
Hmm.
low sugar and carbs.
I love eating fat.
Yeah,
I love eating fat.
avocados and yeah, all of it.
Uh,
And so I did that, and I lost like 30 pounds, and I hella
mhm.
energy, and I'm able to, if I go, oh, I don't want to eat today, or today would be a good day to just not eat, I can, because my body's sort of already like, okay, now we're gonna burn the fat, it's ready to go, And so I could see an extension of that eventually. Just don't eat anything.
Right.
I'm not recommending it to anybody. Please don't. Again, not a doctor, but that's
Right.
interesting.
Right. Right. The you have to be called to do something like, I don't know who calls it. I don't know who calls it. I'm not saying, and I'm not putting out God or anything, but
No, you're good.
when I was talking to my friend who just kind of looked over me while I was doing it, because I needed to have this little person that was checking on me, this person who checked on me, and that has done it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like if you check on me, I'll be wondering what the hell I was doing or you were doing. But I had confidence because this person did it and said, hey, have faith in yourself because you were called to do it.
Yeah.
And so just go with that. And I did, and it was easy and it was great. It was fantastic. And I did it 5 times after that because I could get into the ritual, and a chair became the food became like a chair. I wouldn't dare try to gnaw on a chair or
Yeah.
a table. We
Yeah.
just became this other non-existent thing. It was part of the woodwork, but it wasn't what I was doing then. But
Yeah.
also because I was always around food, and food has never been an issue for me.
Uh-huh.
My dad was very health conscious, and I grew up in a home that we ate well. We were very poor. We lived in a 2-room house, and one was the bedroom.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Paraguay, South
Oh,
America.
yes.
Hmm.
Paraguay.
And so I was so anyway, in the same bedroom, my parents had their bed, and we slept with my grandmother. My sister and I slept with our grandmother, and so uh, yeah. So, and my father always said, "We're not getting a new couch because the food comes first."
Mm.
Here in America, the couch comes first.
Yep.
You eat hot dogs.
Yep. I know. I've always said that. When I see someone driving like a really nice car, Mercedes, through a McDonald's drive-through, I go,
Oh,
"What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Buy a cheaper car.
Exactly.
You better."
Take care of your first house.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
well,
This view
first
will
house.
work.
Well, first house is actually the world.
Yeah, yeah,
Take
yeah.
care of that, and then take care of the second home, and yeah,
Yeah.
and then whatever. And so anyway,
I like that. Hold on, that was kind of cool. I just want to recognize that the first house is the world. I like that.
yes,
Take care of this house, and that's
yeah,
don't
that's
crack,
it.
all
That,
that, and then yes, that's cool.
yeah,
If you gotta
that's it.
divide it up, I like that better. To call
Yeah.
this first house.
First
Very-
house.
Yeah.
First house.
Very
And
Hawaiian.
then your body, and then your real house, then your real house, then
Yes.
whatever.
Then your
house.
moving house, which is the
Yeah,
car.
there you live in.
The
Yeah,
metaphorical
exactly.
house.
Yeah, exactly. And then the car can come
Yes,
down the road.
I agree.
I always thought, first you own a jalopy and a piece of land. Second, you own a nicer house and maybe a better jalopy to ride around it. then a really nice home, and then you might get a new car.
Beautiful advice. I
And
love
so, yeah, and that's kind of what I did, exactly what I did. Then I got myself a new car, got myself and my daughter a new car when we had the house that we wanted.
it. Right
And
on.
so, and our house was completely paid for. And, and the car was completely paid for. So we don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah.
I'm not rich, money rich, retired, and I really don't want to work for anyone except doing odd jobs here and there,
Yeah.
with carpentry or plumbing
That's so cool.
or little stuff
So
like
do
that.
you really enjoy, we're jumping all over the place,
Sure,
so
sure.
we're going to eventually get through your
Right.
life if
Okay.
we can. But do you enjoy doing the plumbing and the carpentry? Is it fun for you to work
Oh
with
yeah,
your
it's
get
fun for
going?
me. Yeah,
Right on.
it's completely fun for me. I love. Um, I'm pretty diverse because I cook, I sew,
Yeah.
I do plumbing, I do gardening. Um, I used to call myself I'm the jerk of all trades. and
Well, you
and
sound
then and
very
then
self-sufficient.
I taught ceramics at the senior center, pottery,
Good.
and tai chi.
Oh, really? Do you do Tai Chi?
Not after Paul. Not after
Okay, I
Paul.
want to recognize this. I don't know how far in we are, but we made it 30 minutes without bringing up
Okay.
Paul, which
Okay.
surprised me.
Okay. So yeah. So
I
anyway,
purposefully
right,
wanted to see how long we could go before Paul
right,
came. All right.
right. And
All right.
so anyway, right. So anyway, I did Tai Chi for a while, and I really got in touch with the Chi. I really I can generate love or the feeling of love on the man.
Oh yeah.
I can love on the man, just become completely filled with love.
Yeah.
And so, in ease, because my life is about ease.
Yeah.
And um,
So
so
that's so cool. So
anyway,
I want to again, I want to recognize when I was talking about saying that healing and being able to heal people
oh
as well.
yes,
Right?
yes,
So,
yes. Okay.
so actually, what you just said, I connect with so much. So I've come back around to seeing the value in that. Just today, I
Mm-hmm.
was driving and I had like four different things that I have to do between
Mm-hmm.
work, family, that I can feel the pull of time and the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety of these things need to be done. The joke of once they're done, then my anxiety will be gone. Of course, it'll
Right.
just find the next
That
thing
is, yeah.
to latch itself onto.
Right.
And I had this thought, as dumb as simple as it sounds, that I go, what if I was just good now?
Yes, yes.
And
Or you know what?
I
Another
was
thing that you can tell yourself, which is what I did tell myself, because when I bought this particular house, I had 3 months to remodel my daughter's house before I built my house. And so, and we had to do so much to it because we touched everything in that house. So I was working 7 days a week, and I was working from 6 o'clock in the evening until 7 or 8 in the evening to get the house done. And it was a lot. I was just like, oh, I gotta do this, I have to do that. Finally, I told myself, look how much you've done. And that was just like, oh, all of a sudden. And then you can always tell yourself, oh, look how much you've done. Look how much got
Yeah.
done today.
Yeah. At anything in life, I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything. Look how much you done. And so, and then the weight drops off
Yeah.
because you acknowledge how
Yeah.
much you done. And then whatever I had to do then just became clearer, or it didn't have the weight that
Yeah.
oh
So that look how much you've done. That's funny because that's been coming up for me the last
mhm.
couple weeks. This is very strange, so if it doesn't land with people, whatever. But I like going out there a little bit,
Right.
talking about what's going on in the mental state. So I share on this podcast again and again that if I could have taken a snapshot of myself about 3.5, 4 years ago, and said, "Hey, this is what your life's going to be in a few years. You're going to have friends. You're going to really enjoy your job. You're going to feel
Right.
belonging." Right? I
Right.
always joke that I used to say if I could have one friend that I could connect with, I'd be happy. And life, universe, whatever, what is, has hit me with more than I can handle in the
Right.
last couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing now, it's funny, is not like what's been swimming in my brain is not is it ever going to go back to the way it was? I don't really even see that as an option, but I go, is it going to stop getting better? Because it in a way, it's like I've
Oh,
been on this
yes,
roller
yes, yes.
coaster.
That one. Yeah, right.
That one.
Right, right.
Okay.
No, no, I know. I
Yes.
know. That's oh sure. That is a question.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm 67 this year. 67.
The
And
fasting has
so
done some work because you look very young.
right, yeah. And I feel really strong. And you know what? Inside in my body, I don't feel any different than 19 or 20.
Wow.
And in my mind, I don't see myself forgetting anything. God is really important. And but the stuff that I forget is like because I'm somewhere else within myself.
Mhm.
I'm totally somewhere else. I'm
A new
not
place to rest.
right.
Yes.
Is a whole different space here now.
And that place to rest doesn't depend on the
No.
circumstances getting better and better, the circumstances getting worse, it all falling apart. It doesn't matter. That's the
Or
peak.
it doesn't matter. And or remembering.
Yeah.
Or remembering. It's really beautiful because I was talking to a lady from mine and I told her, oh, I forgot this. And she said, you know, there's this smoothie, there's this that helps you remember. And I go, I don't want it because it's not about that. But that's what she relates to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there. It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just that.
what it reminds me of again and again, this is one of my favorite things that Paul points to, is when he'll say, there's happening. There's always happening.
Yes.
Happening.
Right.
But nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's the piece. And
Right.
I was talking with Keith this week over the phone, and I told him a little mantra or like a question that I've been asking, which he really likes. He's been doing it too. Is every now and then when I hit that point of like regret or anxiety about the future, past and future, I ask myself, has anything happened?
Mm-hmm.
At first I was saying, has anything happened yet? And then I just dropped the yet. Because if you really check in, it's like, who am I? It's like, who am I? Oh, there's nobody there. It's the same thing. Has anything happened? We're always here. We're always home.
Always.
Right? We're
Yeah.
home, right?
Right.
And every story can only be told from home. And then our belief in any separation is what gives it all the juice. Our belief in the past resentments, our belief in the future anxieties, but from home you can see the
Oh, yeah. The lights are on.
Yeah, the lights are on.
The lights are on. Yes. Yes. And going back to healing and the idea of healing and spiritual healing. I attended a church for 3 months who were really, really into praying, and they used a recipe, pretty much a 5-step to prayer. And if you wanted to be a prayer practitioner, you had to study and pass this test, and you actually had to you'd have to, if someone asked you for a prayer, 3 people had to ask you for a prayer, and those 3 prayers had to come through completely to be a practitioner. And I really like the method of the prayer, And because the last part of the prayer was release. You release it, you let it go. You let it go. And so that was fantastic. But the thing about it is like the mind doesn't really let it go. I hear what Paul tells me. I listen to that, even though it is not me, which is you, which is you, which is Paul, that needs hearing. Who, who this thing and us doesn't need any of this teaching or the prayers or for example, yeah, like that person. And I was talking to a friend of mine who said, oh, this woman died, and we prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for her, for the cancer to go away, prayed and prayed, and she really wanted to live. And so I said, well, you know, being a Christian, I said, she got her healing.
Yeah.
Because death for Christianity, they should run to it. Because you get all this kudos. You get to see your maker. You get to see your savior.
What are we doing here?
You get to be completely healed. What the hell? Why would you want to get quote unquote healed? But anyway, but she wanted to be healed. But that's another way of healing that we don't see and we don't want to recognize because we're attached to our form of healing.
Yeah.
But then again, but the way I see death or sickness or leaving the earth, sickness could be a vehicle because we came here through a vehicle, or the body came here through a vehicle, the dreaming. Yes. There was a vehicle. For me to raise my garden, I have to first have the seed and then the soil and water and all the stuff. And then comes the plant that Judith can eat. And so, but those things have to happen. And it could be just this. It could be that there was not a past. Maybe it's just there. Because by memory says, oh, yes, you had to go get the horse shed. You had to get all this stuff to make your plant happen. Yeah. And so anyway, but there's the vehicle for the plant. Yeah. And then there's the vehicle right here for the plant to go elsewhere. Yes. And so there's a vehicle for us. For this dream, because it's a dream, it's a sequential sequence.
Yep. Yeah, and it follows certain rules based on, like,
right.
Paul talks about like the source code. This has a source code. This isn't a chariot to the gods. You can't take this body and find what you are. What
right.
you are. What you are like, is expressing through this.
Exactly. But like Paul also said, oh, here comes Paul again. It's like, oh, the room was set. The room. So here's the room. Everything is happening within the room. Yeah. And we give life to the whole thing, including this or the dreaming. Whether it's a dream or it's reality, is infused with the life, eternal, infinite life that we are.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of Paul, since we did pretty well, but I would like to, I've heard it before, but if you could share again, because this podcast more and more has become the Paul.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. That's why I want to explore, because I remember more the spirit of it and the energy. You sharing how you came across Paul, and I felt very simpatico with it, because when I first discovered the weird guy from New Jersey on a badly recorded audio, I listened to it nonstop, like for hours and
Right.
hours, before I had even met him in person or anything. And it sounds like you had a similar introduction to him. So do you mind sharing how
Oh,
you very first stumbled across him, and then where it went from there?
oh, sure, sure, sure. Um, I went through this really horrible time, and just in 2018, and so that I got recovered, and so and I've been working on myself, and then on top of it, my dog that I love so much died, and so in the worst way because she got run over by a car right in front of my yard. And first she was there by me, and then before I closed the gate, she was out, and I know exactly what happened. And so then I got this other dog that was so dysfunctional that I had to hold for a very long time because he had so many problems, so many problems. And so he wanted to eat everybody except me. Yeah, he was just like horrible, vicious. And so I held him for a long time, and but I was looking for things to listen to on my computer while I was holding this monster and meditating with him. And yeah, and
You never
so,
know what their gifts are going to be from
right.
having
And
I'm dreaming.
right, the dreaming. And so I clicked on this YouTube. I was looking for some YouTube, and I clicked on to accidentally to Paul, and I couldn't stop listening to him, even though I couldn't understand a thing that he said. And he didn't even say in that particular YouTube, he didn't even say, well, you might not understand this. That would have been fantastic if I could have heard that. That would have been helpful, because then I would have go, okay, great, I can understand it. But I kept reaching for the button to switch to something else, and I couldn't do it.
I remember that, yes.
I could not do it. I just, okay, so I was stayed with him, and then something happened that it was just like this, my consciousness opened, and I totally understand now what had happened, because just like he says, I'm talking through you.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is like, because this is dead matter. This is a corpse.
The
This
body.
is the body.
Yeah.
This is corpse. This is the action figure. The only thing that makes it alive is that life
Life force.
that is operating it.
Yes.
And the mind is so limited. Is so bless the mind, bless the body, because it is so limited,
Yeah.
that it cannot understand. And so, and so but something in me understood and kept me there, because it was for me. And um and I started to understand, and then I listened to him nonstop while I was hugging this beast, and spending time with the beast. And my whole mind was just because the beast looked like my dead dog.
Yeah, wow.
And so for hours I listened to Paul. I had turned off the internet and to in my everything in my house, just to focus on reading Nisargadatta Maharaj and trying to see that.
Okay, this is so incredibly interesting. I hate to cut you off, but I just got to get a little more context here. Did you know what non-duality was? Did you know what Buddhism was? No? That's so cool. Wow. So
No.
you had some background, obviously, in prayer and Christianity. Was that mostly your?
Yeah, it was pseudo Christianity.
Yeah.
Pseudo. It wasn't. It wasn't
More modern
Jesus.
metaphysical.
Yeah, but I was never attracted to Buddha
Okay.
because Buddhism has all these demons and devils and everything.
Tibetan Buddhism.
And
Sure.
Christianity, I don't want to say something over. Anyway,
He's fine.
yeah. And so I didn't believe in that God because anyone who creates a devil,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm not gonna believe in him. And so anyway, but I know that there is a life. There's life, and this life is so intelligent and so eternal, and it is eternal, and it is in me and everyone. But I never thought that this was, and I always felt like it can't be real. It cannot.
Oh yeah.
Surely only the life is real. Surely this cannot be real. Without the life, it's no longer real. Without the life, it's just like a piece of cloth. You just drop it or getting out of your car.
Yeah.
But then when Paul made it clear, and of course I was all ever so consumed in stabilizing into controlling. God, it was so painful. I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning, meditating, trying to control my dog, the beast, the beast doesn't compare to this. This ran me ragged. Try, and then everything was focused on me.
Yeah.
And this, it was just so much. I couldn't sleep. I was just like having a horrible time. And so, and it wasn't until Paul opened up the doors that it's always going to be like this, with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had some really amazing experiences, light, spiritual, humongous, fantastic experiences where I drove like 10 miles without remembering who drove the car.
And this is all while listening to Paul.
Yeah, I will listen after listening to Paul.
Yeah, you had the Paul boot camp, it sounds like.
Right, and also in seeing, feeling reality in me, and then losing it, from feeling all gloomy, like because it started to disown.
Yeah.
Well, not disown. I never owned it, the body.
But
I started to see it for what it was, and then this it's almost like an effervescent, light-headed, like this champagne, like bubbly light thing, and in my head and my being, people started to act different towards me. Things start to happen. People give me things. Oh, my needs are taken care of. It's just happening. And so, because I'm being real, and when you're real, the universe, well, not universe, because I can't separate myself from it, because you start to recognize yourself that in ideas like, because of listening to Paul, my ideas of security or looking for security are out the window. I don't have to try to be secure, because who I am doesn't need security in the worldly level. And if this dreaming needs certain things, he'll provide what it needs.
Yeah, and getting right back to taking your own advice, the idea of security can be taken to a sick
Oh,
level of like
it,
I need to have walls and barbed wire fence and guns and food for 3 years, in my basement, and so it's not the other extreme of like I'm gonna just see what the hell happens, like of course, but getting back to taking your own advice, see how far we've come. I've got a home, everyone's healthy, my
mhm.
family's healthy, I got a little bit of, I love Fred Davis had a thing about he kept on telling himself he doesn't have enough money, and then one day he took his wallet out and he goes, not only do I have enough, I got this to hold the extra money I have, which was $7 or whatever, right? And
Right,
it's just the shift, and it's the whole idea of the only security is true insecurity is the only
right.
real
Oh,
security. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, uh, I started to get rid of a bunch of stuff, just getting rid of, just releasing, letting go, ownership, just the idea of ownership or needing
These
things.
physical
No,
things? Or
I mean, what?
you said you're getting rid of stuff, like getting rid of physical things? Like,
Yeah, physical things and
mental and-
emotional things.
yes.
Even the idea that, oh, I need to be good or I'm loved, let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it go. Just
Traveling
let
light.
it all go.
Yep.
Any sense of yes, creating well-being. Of course, I still grow my food organically. I only eat organic food. I I don't go to McDonald's. I don't do all this stuff. I don't smoke. I don't drink. It, and I don't know why I'm letting all that go. I don't know why I do that, but it's okay. It's okay. It's just kind of, I'm doing it, but there is no value in it anymore. There
Yeah.
is no reason why I do it. All reason, all rationale behind anything, I let it all go.
Yeah, and again, I'm thinking of Paul in that
Mhm.
it's a redistribution of interest and attention, right? Because when your
Right,
interest and attention is wrapped up in things, whether they be
right.
physical, emotional, mental, whatever, when it's all spread out, what does that mean? That means it's not here. It's not
It's
in
not
this
yet
moment. It's not in
exactly.
this miracle, in this gift that is this moment. And then the other
Mhm.
Paulism is because when it's here, then you are available. You're available
Right,
to whatever
right,
comes up, to the beast, to the ghost.
right. But even let go of
Whatever.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even let go of that because
Be there with them, and then when it's
right,
over, let go of it. Yeah,
right,
exactly. You know,
right, right.
there,
Oh
you
no,
never really have to hold
exactly.
on.
Right.
You're at the
Don't
bottom.
hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a
Just
response to the claim that, oh, you need to be prepared and you need to worry about it.
hmm
No, you're already available, but you don't need to say
right.
that.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
not a thing to have to
It
say.
just is.
But
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you say it, since it's been said, you can let go.
Right. Oh,
Right? Because it got
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Paul. Paul is giving us everything. When I was in my country, when I was in
I think he told
Paraguay,
us nothing.
when when I was in Paraguay 6 or 7 years ago, I wanted to get this motorcycle to ride around to drive on,
Yeah.
and so, but I had to have a license, and they have tricky questions for a driver's license here in the United States. Well, it's the same in Paraguay, except it's in Spanish. So since I haven't read in Spanish in a long time, I really didn't understand it.
Mm.
But it was so great because I was around a bunch of people that didn't really even know how to read or write. And it was a room with us passing the test. So here was the officer saying, okay, what does number one mean? Everybody stayed quiet. We didn't know. And so he goes, okay, it means blah, 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 blah. So what would your answer for that be? And he was like, okay. He goes, it's number five. Write number 5, blah, blah, blah. This is number 1 and number 5 connected. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So he took us through 20 answers like that, questions and answers. He told us the questions and the answers. Paul, it's like that. He gives you the questions and the answers. And so and it is wonderful because he doesn't hold back. He doesn't hold back. It's what we need. And sometimes we ask the dumbest questions sometimes, but he sees through it. He sees through it and we get the question. And or sometimes the dumbest, I mean, is so limited. Did we not hear what he said? He was just talking about, wait a minute, this is the reality. You can take this ball, hit it as hard as you can on the ground. In the ball, what is the ball? Is that sense feeling.
Yeah.
That's the ball. Hit it. And we're not hitting it, but that sense feeling is hit ground.
Yep.
For me, it's like, okay, I'm in a real low. No idea of being high, but then the ball goes up high, really high, and you feel really great, and you want the ball to stay up there. No, the ball comes down again, and it's on the ground, and you're surfing like crazy while it's in the ground, and then it goes back up, and you go, okay, so I want to stabilize up there. But see, that's denying who you are right off the bat. When it's on the ground and you're selfing, it denies who you are. When you're high, it denies who you are. Let go of selfing and let go of trying to stabilize up there. Let go of the whole ball game. Yep. And just watch the thing happen. And Paul tells us that all the time. Just watch it happen. Don't try to control your mind. It's not going to be controlled.
Yeah, it's not your mind to control.
It's not your mind.
Yeah, that's
exactly. It's not your mind. It's not for you to control.
I love one of his things. But he hasn't done it in a while. Where he used to talk about money, girls, whatever, and then you just write it on a board and it means whatever, and then you put my money.
Oh yes, I love that.
I want you to have a lot of money. I want to have a lot of money, but I want you to have my money. So the my we put on thoughts and the mind. That's what creates all the weight. And the my we put on the ball being high or the ball being low creates the weight on either side of it too.
It does. It does because we go back to believing that we're a mere body, and he doesn't see us that way. Paul does not see us as a mere body, and when he talks to us, he's not talking to a mere body. If he was talking to a mere body, then the whole thing is worthless and hopeless, and it's just a waste of time
and
a waste of his time. But it's not, because I mean, I'm sure you feel this traveling lighter, and then again, like, what more do you want than that? And it's true. Yeah, one more. I don't want anything else, because if I had, well, I've never been the kind of person that wanted a lot of financial. I didn't want financial riches. I didn't want to be famous. I didn't want all the stuff. I didn't want the limelight. None of that. I just wanted to be a mom and take care of my house. And that was great for me. And that's what I did. And I'm a good provider, and I'm a nurturer. And so, or the action figure thinks it is. But the thing is that it doesn't matter how much fame, if you're ruled by the devil, you're going to be in hell and all of that. And plus, why have it anyway? It's just dream. If we're the dreaming, you're accumulating a bunch of dream. and you're stepping all over everybody to keep the dream up, and nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah.
You got
Dreams
nothing.
don't happen.
You have nothing.
Yeah.
We have nothing, and that's fine.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, and the devil, like you said, the devil's, we create the devil, obviously.
we create. Oh yes, yes. Because to me, in my mind,
Yeah,
God and the devil, they're the same,
yeah.
and angels and demons, they're all the same.
Well, I
It's
think
all the
that's really
same.
cool. I love hearing, like you said, that your greatest goal was to be a mom and do that well. I always feel a lot of connection with anyone, especially my generation, because I'm 30. My generation is so hardcore about the me. You know, I don't want to have kids because it's going to take away my chances to have the career I want or to travel and yada yada. And life, the seed assignment for me was to have kids. I never had plans on being married and having kids, but the seed assignment, life gave it to me, and I feel so blessed that I can sit here and just go, oh, this is way more than enough. You know,
Yeah,
like when I get the greatest part of my day, no matter what, when I walk in through the door, and especially the two little ones because they're still young, 6 to 7, and they Papa, and they run up and give me a hug. I'm like,
right.
it sounds cliche, whatever. No amount of
Right.
fucking money, no amount of fame, nothing can freaking, in the dreaming. I'm talking
Right.
completely
Sure,
within.
sure.
But yes, the
It's a
dreaming.
beautiful dream.
Fucking
It's a
beautiful.
beautiful dream for those who want to dream that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dream, and
Or not
um,
so beautiful if it's planned, actually. That's when it's
Yeah,
a privilege
exactly.
to
Yeah.
be given to you.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and but you know what? My daughter doesn't want to have any children, and that's fine because she just feels like, well, it's not the time. It's not the time. It's like, oh, because the dream, yeah,
Yeah.
is yeah. So take care of what is already there, and what is already being made, and
Yeah.
so the comforting thing is that it is a dream. The comforting thing is to look at what it is. Is a dream.
Yeah, thank God
And
it's not real. And I really am in that boat. You know, Paul says all the time, like, he was like, if this were real, it's funny. I was listening to an older talk. He goes, if I believe this were real, then the alcoholics have it right.
Yeah,
You
of
should
course.
try to get out of
right.
here.
Exactly. Exactly.
If time and all this is real, then I got to do something to get the hell out of here. But the fact
Oh,
is,
I know.
you can't
Yes.
get out of an imaginary place. So the fact that it
Exactly.
isn't real, that this is not a long-lasting, independent, separate thing, the fact that it is dreaming allows you to go like, okay, I don't need to get out of here. Not only that, I can't get out of here. There's nothing
Right.
to get out of. Right? We're
Right.
here, and that's the gift.
Yeah. But one thing that I love also that's happened between, well, like you say, me and him, is that when I hear Paul make references, let's say to the course or references to something else, he is not talking about that reference. He's going to you.
Mm.
To you is it's not about the reference. The reference, the Course in Miracles, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the whatever, they're all the books of the dead.
Mhm.
Any law is dead.
Yeah.
We're the only life. We're the only intelligence. When he makes that reference, is I know that it's making that reference to me. I don't go, oh well, let's go back to what the course says. The course says this. No, it's like, cool. Paul is telling you that you, and I love that. I love that I can I see that's happening. It's not about anything else. It's because there goes again. It's like I'm not talking to you because this is never going to evolve to be anything. This is never going to really change, but it can travel lighter.
Yep.
You can just have, and that's all that it's going to get. It's
Yep.
just traveling lighter,
What
and
more do you want?
but it's not going to get salvation. There's a limited. It has a deadline. You know, whatever. Yeah, yeah, there is. Oh, but you know what? You, you, you know what is really cool though is that I was thinking about my cat that takes off, and she played with the centipede, and the centipede bit her, and then it became this whole, her leg became all infected, and so I took her to the vet. They changed her legs, put tubes in there. I took care of her for a week, and then she takes off. After she comes back, she takes off, and I don't know where she's at. But it was normal taking off. But then I'm wondering, is she dead? And then I thought, you got this death thing completely turned around. The death thing is like liberation, complete liberation, just gone. It's like homecoming. It's like the greatest, most wonderful thing that will happen to all of us, because we just got rid of the body, the thing that drags us and thinks all these limited things that we have to go back to. I don't know. It's just all the dreaming.
There's some Buddhist somebody who said there's two great gifts in life that most people never open, and I think it's love and death, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
What?
What about the present?
You can't open the present. The present to give it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you can't open it, right?
The idea of death, I like so much of what we've been dancing around in every freaking podcast is something to the transcendence, to see you're not going to get it. The gift of seeing you're not going to get it. The gift of seeing there's no self, there's nobody home, there's no Judith's imaginary. So I think death is the one guarantee that at the moment the body dies, right?
Yeah.
Obviously you couldn't have been the body.
That life that you know so well cannot die.
Yep.
That just because it's life. It's life, and it's got nothing to do with the body, except for when the body's the body is not being real.
Yeah,
it's just
I have no dog in the race as far as afterlife, whether or not there's an afterlife, heaven, hell, any of that. But Keith said something on this podcast once in this room that really stuck with me. Is he said, "I've learned to have faith in being." Right. So we're being right now. Obviously, there's being going on, and if there was such thing as a non-being, there would be no being there to experience the non-being. So I tend to, if I'm in Vegas, put my money on something. I think consciousness, the body blinks out and consciousness just picks right back up with being. Whether it be in this dimension, another life,
that is again within the room.
Within the dreaming, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, or the room, which is life. So it doesn't really matter. Is within the room. And I mean, I thought about this place called hell, and I was thinking, hell. If you belong to that place, you'd be having a great old time, because that's your that's your home. It's just like the earthworms. They're in their own environment. They're earthworming, and the bugs are bugging, and people are peopling.
Pulling around poop.
Yeah, and so then there's a thing there. So if there's a devil, then he's right at home. Like they have a party in hell. You know, there's parties in hell and there's meditation in hell, is the whole thing. But everybody is in that environment. So I was like, oh, who cares? Who cares? And so yeah, it doesn't really matter, because the thing is that it's just, we're just being whatever environment that within the room, we're just be ourselves.
Yeah, and I love more and more something Paul says at the Zen thing of the highest mind is I don't know. And if you,
Right.
that's the only security is insecurity. It's we don't know what's going to come after death. We don't know what's going to come tomorrow. We don't know what's going to come the next second. I don't even know where these words are coming from. Right? That's the good fucking place.
We cannot know, because knowledge is belongs to the brain.
Yep.
And we are prior. Life is prior to the brain, the creation of the brain, or the instrument that will explain to you knowledge.
Yeah.
And knowledge is fantastic. Like Paul says, you know, hey, if you in knowledge or seeking, you can use the knowledge or that seeking for certain things. You can go seek for a pair of pants, is what he said. Or go look for a pair of pants, or you can use that knowledge on how to garden. Knowledge is beautiful, but it's for right here. I totally see that the knowledge is for here, and I was prior to knowledge, prior to love, prior to understanding, prior to getting hurt, prior to loving. And in the truth, yeah, I heard it loud and clear when he said, you already are. You already found it. You're living in the truth because that's who you are. And so when that lands and becomes, oh yes, one thing that he told, when he was talking to me in the YouTube, in the meeting, he said, and this is why we keep coming back, because the grooves are it's making a groove. The groove is getting wider, getting more open to us receiving who we are, getting an inkling. Not that we need it, but for traveling lighter, yes, the grooves need to be there. Just like I have to put holes in my pots, because if I keep putting the water and then the roots will rot. There's no drainage. The groove has to be there.
So not only does it got to come through, but it's got to leave too.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and hold on to the message and
Cannot.
carry this with you the rest of the week. Yeah. That's
Right. But
that's
that's the thing. If we held on to it, if the brain held on to it, held on to it, which it can't, because it's too much for it.
But if it tries.
But if it did, then it would become another clutch.
Yeah.
Another something that you grew up and you hold dearly, and maybe you get a shotgun to protect it.
Yeah.
Because it's so precious. It is what makes you feel really good, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool. That's an awesome insight, Judith, because I've told people, I've brought a few people to talks, mostly that I meet from work. I brought them to talks here with Paul, or some of them have joined the Zooms, and they always go like, do you believe in him and in his message? And I'm like, no, like believing in him is like so cheap. Like it's not
so cheap.
Yeah. I have no belief in the message. I have no belief.
Right.
Like it proves itself. It does all the work. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Plus that, if you think you're right, there's a you and there's a right. It becomes the evangelizing.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yes. Oh exactly.
They need to be saved, or you kill them because they're not being saved. I mean, Native.
Oh no! Before you know it, we'd have Paul before you know it, we'd have Paul on an altar. Before his picture and an altar, and then he just.
We should do that to him sometime.
I mean, imagine.
Yeah.
But that's why I love, the reason that I love that he curses and cusses, so to let you know that there's a real person there. And what? If someone was to write you a check, here's $1 million, but it's going to cuss at you for an hour before you get it.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, go ahead. go ahead. But that's what kind of a boss, dude. It's like, hey, you get it. It's such a valuable thing. It's because it's pointing to us. It's just, it's the real.
Yeah.
The real. I was in town in Cal the other day, and there was this writing on this car. It says, "Come to life." I go, oh, I go, what is that? But it meant something to this person, so that there's this nicely painted car with "Come to life." You know, like, oh, this person was not think that they are alive.
Yeah, you
Come
gotta
to life. I'm like, oh, that was really. Or here's another one. It's like, all men are created equal. Sure, we're all dreaming. We're all consciousness. Yes, that's equal. But then when it comes down to parts of the dreaming, no, we're not
we
equal.
live in
But
relativity.
in the essential, we're life, we're consciousness, we're the dreaming.
Yeah, even the ones that try to proselytize that belief we're all equal as these objects.
No, they're trying.
Of course, yeah.
Become all kinds of
Doesn't work.
ideas that will still breed unhappiness.
Yeah, and you have the obvious examples of tall and short, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, tall and short, exactly.
healthy and unhealthy. And
Yeah,
all the way down the line.
and trying to apply that very real aspiration of equality. Not even like, yeah, they know that tall and short are not equal, right?
Yeah.
But they're trying to apply it to something somehow.
Trying to pin it on something.
Yeah, as opposed to only that which is already equal can express through it. It can't be made.
No.
It can't be made to be.
That's
an
extreme case of the cart in front of the horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And
Right on,
so,
Judith. Hey, we're getting kind of close to
okay.
open the
All
room
right.
up. But that was wonderful. It was
thank
very
you.
nice to hear your thoughts, your stories.
Likewise.
I feel like we have another podcast or two in you, so
All right.
we'll plan another one down the road. Do you have any final words? Last words? Forever hold your peace before we.
Yes. All that I can say is that no one is nothing. Because we are nothing, we don't need knowledge. We don't need knowledge. We don't need faith to have faith in anything. But sure, we can use that as a tool. And if anyone listen to Paul, please listen. Really listen and listen to how it affects you. Because that's the thing, is like, Paul can throw all the sugar to you, but sugar is not what is on the table. You taste sugar in your mouth. Sugar is not sweet on the table. So just, so just check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. And if you don't understand him,
You're on the right track.
you do. The real you really understands. Really, really.
Yes, something else.
And I wish I could sell seats to Paul's shows, because it needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Really needs to be heard. It's a beautiful thing.
I believe the ones that need to hear it are hearing it, and
Oh God, and it's so much freedom.
It is.
So much freedom because that's what we are. The word freedom doesn't even.
Inherently free. Yeah.
We're
I don't wanna-
inherently in no requirements necessary.
Yes.
Always available, all times, no requirements necessary.
Available at all times.
Yep.
Available. If it's available, that does away with every little glimpse of time. If it's available at all times,
Except the ones that you,
Yeah.
It's
except
just-
the
that you
requirements
put
you
up.
set up.
yeah. Exactly. There you
But I
are.
want to thank you because, like, for your redistributing of attention for, even in the forms of, organics for your plants and your animal friendliness, because there's no requirement to
No,
have to make big
no,
heads of lettuce and
no. You can,
project our cruelty onto little life forms. So
yeah.
that's
I don't know. I don't know why I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't have to know anymore. I don't want to know.
Right on. I don't know why I do the podcast. We're in the same
Right.
boat.
Exactly the same thing. It's your seed assignment. To me, that's just really a perfect. It's your seed assignment. Well, somebody, it's their seed assignment.
It's where I'm sitting.
Huh? What?
It's where I'm sitting.
Yeah, that's it. That's why you're sitting there.
All right, Judith, we're gonna
Alright.
go get some tea.
All right.
See you in about
Yeah,
30.
I'm gonna get some tea also. Aloha.
Thank you so much. Aloha.
A few.
Bye.
Yeah.
Aloha.